here's what we've got. The United States is arming India. Pakistan is going to China for help. And this could lead to a war between these two nuclear neighbors. And if that happens, it will be devastating. We're gone Nago over the India-Pakistan War 2025 full story so far in this episode of our World War III series, where we cover the latest developments surrounding the ongoing global conflict. Before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any updates. First, let's talk about the Indian side of things. America is providing India with state-of-the-art military technology. Now, why is this important? Well, because it could tip the balance of power in a potential conflict with Pakistan. You see, India has long been seen as a counterweight to China's growing influence in South Asia. However, until now, India has largely maintained a non-aligned stance and pursued a policy of non-interference in the affairs of other countries. This has led some to believe that India would not take an aggressive stance against Pakistan. But recent developments suggest that this may no longer be the case. The first piece of equipment we need to discuss is the BrahMos multi-role combat aircraft, often referred to as the Indian equivalent of the F-16. It's made by American company Lockheed Martin, and it's one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. India has been interested in acquiring the BrahMos aircraft for some time now, but negotiations have been slow and difficult. This is because the BrahMos aircraft is a highly advanced piece of military technology and comes with a hefty price tag. Nevertheless, India has managed to acquire a small number of BrahMos aircraft, and they are expected to begin arriving in the country in 2024. These aircraft are equipped with a variety of advanced weapons and can perform a number of different combat roles, including air superiority, ground attack, and reconnaissance. They have a range of up to 600 kilometers, which means that they can reach targets deep within Pakistani territory. This could be a game-changer for India in a potential conflict with Pakistan. The second piece of equipment we need to discuss is the American MQ-9 Reaper drone. This is a highly advanced drone that can carry out a variety of missions, including surveillance, reconnaissance, and targeted killings. The Reaper has been used extensively by the United States in its wars in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and it is said to be one of the most effective drones in the world. Recently, India conducted tests of the drone and reports say it was successful. According to reports from India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, the tests were for the unarmed version of the drone, but once armed, the drone could prove to be a formidable force against Pakistan. The range of the drone is still not known, but it is believed to be able to travel at least 100 kilometers deep into Pakistani territory. This would allow India to strike at key targets such as military installations and terrorist training camps without risking Indian lives. And finally, we need to talk about the third piece of equipment, which is the American M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System. This is a highly mobile rocket system that can fire a variety of different rockets, including those with cluster munitions. The M142 is designed to be deployed quickly and easily, and it can fire at targets at ranges of up to 40 miles. It is unclear how many of these systems India has acquired, but it is likely that they will be used in a variety of different scenarios. For example, the M142 could be used to strike at Pakistani troop concentrations, artillery installations, or even strategic targets such as bridges and tunnels. All in all, these three pieces of equipment represent a major shift in India's military posture. Until now, India has largely relied on its own domestic arms industry to meet its defense needs. However, the recent acquisitions of the BrahMos aircraft, Reaper drones, and M142 rocket systems show that India is now looking to foreign powers for help in modernizing its military. This is likely in response to the growing threat posed by Pakistan, which has been modernizing its military at a rapid pace in recent years. Now let's take a look at the Pakistani side of things. To understand why Pakistan might start a war with India, it is important to consider the current political climate in the country. You see, Pakistan has been on a downward spiral in recent years. The economy is in sharp decline, inflation is skyrocketing, and the country is facing a severe balance of payments crisis. This has led to widespread discontent among the Pakistani people, who are becoming increasingly frustrated with their government's inability to improve their living standards. In this environment, it is not surprising that some in Pakistan are looking for a way to divert attention away from the country's internal problems. A war with India would do just that. By starting a war with India, Pakistan would be able to rally the Pakistani people around the flag and put aside their differences both domestically and internationally. Additionally, a war with India would also present Pakistan with an opportunity to settle some old scores. There has been a long-standing territorial dispute between the two countries over Kashmir. This dispute has led to numerous clashes and even wars between the two countries in the past. Additionally, Pakistan has also supported various militant groups that have been fighting against India. For example, Pakistan has provided sanctuary to the leaders of the Jaish-e-Mohammed militant group, which has been blamed for a number of attacks on Indian soil. Therefore, it is not surprising that Pakistan would want to use a war with India to settle these outstanding issues. But why would China support a war between these two nuclear neighbors? Well, that's a great question. And it actually goes back to the beginning of this year when General Kamal Javed Bajwa, the chief of Pakistan's military, made a speech in which he said that Pakistan could fight a limited war with India. He also mentioned that Pakistan had made significant progress in developing new weapon systems, including nuclear weapons. This speech was seen as a direct threat by the Indian government, and it led to increased tensions between the two countries. In response to Pakistan's threats, India began conducting a series of military exercises near the border with Pakistan. These exercises involved troops from both sides, and they were designed to simulate a potential conflict between the two countries. However, China saw these exercises as an opportunity to further its own interests in the region. Chinese officials began making statements in support of Pakistan, and they condemned the Indian military exercises as being provocative. This caused a rift between India and China, which had previously enjoyed good relations. As a result, China began providing Pakistan with military assistance, including weapons, ammunition, and even troops. This assistance has allowed Pakistan to build up its military capabilities, and it has given them the confidence to start a war with India. China has also condemned India's acquisition of new military equipment from the US, claiming that it will escalate tensions in the region. This has further strained relations between India and China, and it has brought the two countries closer to the brink of war. Tensions between India and Pakistan have been high for some time now. In February 2019, India conducted an airstrike on a suspected militant training camp in Pakistan, killing a large number of militants. This was in response to a suicide bombing in Indian-controlled Kashmir that killed 40 Indian paramilitary police. Pakistan responded to the airstrike by shooting down an Indian fighter jet and capturing the pilot. This led to fears of a wider conflict between the two countries. However, both sides eventually backed down, and tensions eased somewhat. But now it looks like tensions are rising again, and there is a real possibility of a war breaking out between these two nuclear-armed nations. In fact, according to a recent report by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, Pakistan's military spending is projected to reach 2% of its GDP by 2026. This is a significant increase from the current level of 1.27%, and it indicates that Pakistan is preparing for a major conflict with its neighbor. Furthermore, Pakistan has recently tested a number of new military technologies, including ballistic missiles, drones, and submarines. These tests are seen as a message to India and a warning of Pakistan's growing military capabilities. All in all, it seems that there is a real possibility of war breaking out between India and Pakistan in 2025. This would be a devastating development, as it would involve two nuclear-armed countries going to war. it would also have serious implications for the rest of the world, as it could trigger a wider conflict. The India-Pakistan conflict is one of the most dangerous and volatile situations in the world today. It is a constant source of instability in the region, and it has the potential to escalate at any moment. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, and the two sides will be able to find a peaceful resolution to their differences. However, if that fails, it is important to be aware of the possibility of war breaking out between these two nuclear-armed nations. As always, we appreciate your support. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.